powered by our partners over at Bet Rivers. That man you see next to me with the New Jersey in the background is the one and only Jeffrey Goodman. Jeffrey, how are you, sir?
I'm well. Do we know what number broadcast this is? I would love to know, like, how many of these we've done, because it's remarkable that we haven't killed each other in this slate. We really haven't ever. The amazing part is we haven't really gotten in an argument yet this season. Like, you probably wanted to kill me. You probably wanted.
We argued about something the other day. I can't remember what it was. It was something totally irrelevant.
Yeah, it wasn't that bad.
You know what it is? It's rankings. It's whenever we have to talk about rankings.
Yeah, you get upset. You get heated.
It's because you're an idiot.
all I know is, hey.
For me.
Yeah, whatever. Anyway, whatever. How excited were you about Clemson's win last night?
I mean, I watched like a second of that game. I don't even think I'm pretty sure it was on the ACC network, right?
It was, yeah, which means you can't ever watch
it. I can't watch it. It's like the ACC doesn't exist this year, which isn't bad because the ACC is terrible.
It's not terrible. It's just not great.
No, it's pretty terrible.
Don't be so mean to the ACC.
I'm going to be as mean as I want to the ACC. Like, step it up. You got North Carolina, and you got Duke, and you got Syracuse, and you got Louisville, and none of those teams are going to be in the top 25. Are any of those teams going to make the tournament?
I don't know. You know what sucked for me last night? I took I went live at about halftime, and I took the Illini.
I got them. I took it when it was 9-0. It got all the way to Bet
Rivers. I did that too. I did it then, and then I did it at halftime.
Yeah, Bet Rivers had it at 6.5. So
7.5 and 6.5, and
I can't tell you how tilted I was when Kofi Coburn in overtime picked up that foul on the rebound when he got the dunk, and then proceeded to miss like 4 of his next 5 free throws.
It's a problem with betting on Illinois. Honestly, like Kofi at the line is just like, you just do this. You just like pray. Like, come on. Like, make 1 out of 2 at least.
It's also Nebraska, so they literally have zero excuse. You have to be better than that. I don't feel bad for you at all. I do feel bad for me though. So with that in mind, 82 Atlantic said that we argued about CJ Frederick on Iowa.
Thank you. Yeah.
But that wasn't much of an argument because I got it right. So
like, we just haven't like killed each other. Like we started this for people that are just joining now. We started this on November 25th, didn't we, Rob?
Well, yeah, but we've been planning it for like 4 months beforehand.
Right, but like the start of Best Bets was I was at Mohegan Sun. Was it not?
Yeah, that's
on November 25th. I had a Chicago State jersey in the background. Remember when Chicago State was still a thing and they were playing?
And they were still playing, yeah.
Now they are done. They opted out. So much has changed. So I don't know how many actual pods that is that we've done. How many live streams?
I can add it up. I'll do the math.
It's a lot.
I'll do the math. I'll add it up. It's a lot. We're probably going to get over 100.
It's pretty good. I think we've only like missed. I'm not sure if we missed one. I think we took like a day or two.
Christmas Day. Christmas Day, I didn't do it, and then you had one day when you were driving to Charleston where you didn't do it, and we both went solo. But that's it. Every other day that we've done, we've had someone. It's either been me solo or you solo. All right. So let's talk about today's slate. We have some interesting games. It's actually kind of like a little bit of I don't want to say a boring slate, but there's not as many.
Say that, Rob.
There's not like those great games where you're like, man, I cannot wait to watch like Baylor play Texas, or I cannot wait to watch
Illinois because Baylor's not playing today.
I know that's the problem. There's not a lot of.
It was going to be Baylor Texas Tech today.
Yeah, and now we get Ohio State, Indiana, which
I mean, imagine Beard after, like, how could he have one-upped his ejection the other day against Baylor? I mean, think about it. If they had lost to Baylor today,
for my sources, he was suspended for 2 games by the Big 12 commissioner's office. For my sources. All right. Anyway, what game are you looking forward to the most today? Let's start with that before we actually get into breaking down our favorite bets. Because I have 8 written down that I like today. 8 bets that I like today.
You know what game I'm not looking forward to? You know what's crazy? I do games to watch every day. And not putting Auburn, Kentucky among the top 9 games of the day. It is an irrelevant game, other than for gambling. Auburn, Kentucky has become completely irrelevant today. Like, I can't put that on unless I'm going to bet on it. There's no reason you should ever flip to that game unless you're a Kentucky or an Auburn fan today.
Or if you want to see Sharif Cooper, but like whatever.
Yeah, whatever. I mean, just watch the box score. I'm not going to turn it. And it's going to kill me because, again, you want to watch Kentucky, you want to watch Sharif Cooper, but I'm going to every ounce of energy I have, I'm gonna withhold from turning to that at 2:00. I think it's 2:00.
All right. So what's the game that you're most excited about? Is it we have West Virginia, Oklahoma, we have Villanova, Creighton, we have Loyola at Drake, which will be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Is it we have the homie Effie Abogidi going up against
no, that's not it.
Evan Mobley.
That's
might be the
it.
game of the day.
How about this one?
Might be the game of the day.
How about this one? If Michigan State beats Iowa today, could they start a comeback to make it back into the NCAA tournament? Could Tom Izzo, to me, Michigan State or Duke today are both interesting games in the sense that if they want to make a run without having to win their conference tournament, they both have to win today, right? I mean, Duke's at NC State. NC State's, an NIT team this year.
Yep.
Iowa's, they've struggled lately, but they're still, if Michigan State wants to get in the tournament, they have to win this game today.
And I actually like them in this spot today too. The last time that these two teams played was 2 weeks ago. Michigan State lost by 6 at Iowa. That game was without CJ Frederick, who played against Rutgers. The Rutgers game was the first time that Iowa was covered in their last 6. And I honestly thought that they did not play all that well defensively. We talked about this after the game. Iowa fans ripped me for it on Twitter. Yeah. But Rutgers got basically whatever they wanted offensively. They got whatever shot that they were looking for on the offensive end of the floor. They just happened to miss a lot of them. They missed 18 of their first 19 threes. There was a point where they were shooting like 37% from the floor. And they were still in it. They were down by 6 and they were 2 for 20 from 3 when Jacob Young got a steal and then missed another 3. Ron Harper got the offensive rebound there, missed a layup, and then down at the other end, Luka Garza got an and one and kind of put him away. So to me, there's a theory in the analytics community that defensive 3-point percentage is not a stat that's worth paying attention to because it has everything to do with luck and there's no impact. Your defense has no impact on what your opponent's 3-point shooting percentage is. And I don't know how much I agree with it, but smarter people than me believe that is true. So I think that that's probably going to regress at some point. You're not going to have good shooters consistently missing open shots. And I like Michigan State here. I'm still in the fade Iowa bandwagon. So I will be on the Spartans in this spot. It's not my favorite bet of the day, but since it's the first one that you brought up, it's the one that I decided.
Right. What is, Robert, your favorite bet of the day today? Let's start there instead of going through because there isn't a game that stands out. Like you said, there's not an elite level game that we have to start with today. So let's go with the game you feel the best about is what?
So there are probably 3 that I really love because of the matchup. There's one that's an auto bet for me. It's at the mid-major level, and we'll get to that. Yep. There's one where I want to fade a team that's just too banged up with a team coming off of a pause. But I think my favorite bet of the day is the Oregon Moneyline.
I took it too.
At Arizona. Tipped off at 2:00. Oregon is getting 2 points. Arizona, they're not playing for anything right now. They're basically just playing for them playing out the stretch of their season. Oregon, on the other hand, is in a spot where they're kind of still a little bit in the bubble conversation because of losses to Oregon State and Washington State that they took coming off of their pause. They are back and fully healthy now. Chris Duarte played on, was it Thursday night, maybe Wednesday night at Arizona State after spraining his ankle. Yeah. And he was awesome. I don't think he missed a shot in the first half. And they're now at full strength. Will Richardson is back. We talked about this the other day. They're better without N'Faly Dante, I think. So they have everything to play for here. They have to start getting wins if they want to be able to improve their seeding. And to me, they're the best team in the Pac-12. And if I agree with the best team in the Pac-12, I'm taking it.
I'm right with you on everything. I don't know if I've agreed with you in an entire segment like that ever. But I completely agree with every word you said there, every single word. So I'm not even we're not going to waste our time. I'm with you. Oregon Moneyline. I know I'm going against my alma mater there, but listen, you said it better than I could have said it, which, again, I've never said before.
All right, so I guess my second favorite bet of the day, there's two of them in the ACC that I really like, and it's both favorites. I like
Virginia. You ever pass the ball?
What?
Do you pass the ball?
No, I got to get these shots up myself, man. There's two that I like.
Dude, I set you up here. I set you up with what's your favorite bet of the day. Then you're supposed to say, you know what? I'm not going to just keep jacking threes. I'm going to set my co-host.
You know how I play? I'm not setting you up. I got to get these shots up, man. I'm here for me. Jeffrey, what is your favorite bet of the day?
No, it's too late. You've already hurt me. You've already hurt my feelings. Don't try to be like John Stockton now. We know,
here.
How about Monte Ellis?
How about this? So I love Virginia -6 at home against North Carolina, and I love Florida State -13.5 at home against Wake Forest. There's the dings, baby. There's the dings. So who do you like either of those bets? Are you in on either of those?
No, I'm actually taking Carolina against Virginia. Even though Virginia has owned Carolina, I'm still – I just think it's a lot of points. Like that – I know – I mean, this is like a completely contrast of styles of bigs, right? And it really is going to come down to, like, who gets the edge, to me, of like Hauser and Huff compared to the 3 or 4 Carolina bigs that like to go in and do some work on the interior. So I think if Carolina's bigs can get Hauser and Huff in foul trouble, Carolina wins that game outright. I'm still not completely sold, I guess, Rob, is what I'm saying, on Virginia. Like, I'm not completely sold. And Carolina, listen, they started feeling pretty good about themselves after that win against Duke. All you had to do was see the video of Armando Bacot and Sharp partying afterwards. So they're feeling good about themselves. I'd take the points on that one. 6 points. I did take the points.
So the reason why I like Virginia in this spot is because there's 3 ways that North Carolina really gets their offense in a Roy Williams system. They get it in transition, they get it by getting post touches, and they get it by getting to the offensive glass. That's really the way that Roy Williams' offenses work. And the 3 things that Tony Bennett's defense takes away are transition, because they send like 1 or 2 guys to the offensive glass. They do not let you get out and run. 2, post touches. They have bigs, right? Like Jay Huff is one of the best defensive centers in college basketball, maybe even the ACC Player of the Year. And
Jay Huff is the ACC Player of the Year?
He's up there. He's in the conversation.
Boy, I like Jay Huff, but my God, if he wins ACC Player of the Year, like really, that justifies what you said about the ACC earlier, right?
Yeah. So they double everything in the post. Every post touch they double, and they don't give up offensive rebounds. So like you take away all the 3 things they want to do. Now the thing that concerns me is that the way that you beat a pack line is to shoot threes over the top of it, more or less. Like that's what pack lines dare you to do. And that's what Tony Bennett's defenses dare you to do. And North Carolina has been much better in ACC play. They're shooting 36% from 3 in ACC play, and they're 32% on the season as a whole. So that does worry me a little bit, but I just, you combine the issues that North Carolina is going to have offensively, struggling being forced to play in the half court, with the fact that like all of Virginia's best shooters are bigs that can space out the floor. Like Armando Bacot's going to have to chase Jay Huff around the 3-point line.
I know that, and that is what worries me. I think they stay within 6, I guess, is what I'm saying. Like to me,
they might. They can win it. Low scoring, but it's. I the matchup to me favors Virginia here. Same way that the matchup favors Florida State. The way that I know they're coming off their pause, and our thing has always been like fade teams coming off the pause, but the way Florida State's defense works is that it's essentially like a matchup zone. They call it a man-to-man, but it operates the same way as a matchup zone does. They don't let you run offense to get points. That's the entire theory that Leonard Hamilton has. He's not going to let you run offense to get points. He's going to make you beat him one-on-one. And Wake Forest does not have anybody that can win matchups one-on-one. So, I like.
Let me start with another early game. And I think it's one of the better games is Indiana Ohio State. One of the better games in the slate. Ohio State's friggin' rolling, man. They are rolling. I mean, seriously, they're about as hot as any team in the country, not named Gonzaga or Baylor. They've won 5 straight. They keep beating people on the road. Justin Aarons can't miss a shot from 3. They're going up against an Indiana team that barely beat Northwestern.
Yep.
I like Indiana here. I like Indiana. They're getting what I get it at 6. I do. Indiana's 8-1-1 against the spread on the road in the last 10 games. I think they need this one desperately. And I think Ohio State might be feeling a little bit too good about themselves right now. So it's 6.5. I got a 6.5. So I'm going to take the 6.5 there. And again, listen, is Ohio State that much more talented than Indiana, Rob?
No, they're not. And eventually, there's going to be some 3-point regression coming for Ohio State. They're I don't think they're going to be able to shoot like this forever. My only concern is that the Hoosiers are one of those teams where we kind of look for teams that can pull TJD away from the basket, same way we do with Iowa and Luka Garza. So I like the theory. I probably would, if I was going to bet it, I would probably be on Indiana. But it's a pure stay away from me because I don't know. It's a lot of points.
What about the big mid-major? What can we go through the big mid-major game? Drake Loyola. It's the biggest mid-major game of the year.
Yeah.
Right?
So, so right now, Drake is getting 3.5 points.
It fell.
Yeah, Drake's getting 3.5 points because Hemphill, Shaquan Hemphill,
Tank.
right, is going to be out for the season.
Just call him Tank.
Tank. So Tank's out for the season, and that changes things pretty drastically for Drake.
Yeah,
best player. He's their best player. So yes, they are getting the line fell to 3.5 at Bet Rivers. And real quick, let me just tell you guys a little bit about our partners over at Bet Rivers. If you haven't signed up with Bet Rivers Sportsbook yet, now is the time. They are offering a $250 match bonus for your first deposit. But what sets them apart is that they require just one playthrough to turn your bonus into cash money, Jeffrey. When you win at Bet Rivers Sportsbook, they pay fast, and now it's even faster with their Rush Pay instant approval for withdrawals. It's safe, it's secure, it's reliable. I know because I use it. With March Madness right around the corner, there's never been a better time to give Bet Rivers Sportsbook a try. Go to betrivers.com today to download the Bet Rivers or download the Bet Rivers iOS app. You must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Goodman, are you into the harmonica playing Cameron Krutwig taking this game over without Hemphill in the middle?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, again, listen, what's Drake's best win this year? Can you tell me that? Can you answer it?
They have 2 wins at Missouri State and 2 wins at Indiana State. I went through and did a whole bubble thing on them the other day. Yeah. So I'm very fluent in what their resume.
How impressed were you of their resume when you look through it? How did it blow you away? 1 to 10, 10 being the most.
It's not for. I mean, they haven't played. They didn't play anyone big in the non-conference, and they've been beating up on league opponents, and they haven't played Loyola yet. Which is why. So here's my thing on the game. This doesn't really have to do with the betting line for them. Yeah. So I think that these teams need to split. If you want to get a 2-bid Valley, we need to split this weekend from them.
Yeah, I agree.
Because it will mean that Drake will get a quad 1 win at home against Loyola, and Loyola would get a quad 1 win at Drake. Neither of them have quad 1 wins at this point. So I think you need to split if you want both of them to get in. I really think that
Drake fell to 30 in the net. I haven't looked today. Hold on, I'll tell you right now.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter because if you beat Loyola at home,
right,
Loyola's a top 15 team, and if Loyola beats Drake on the road,
they're 30. What I'm saying, I agree with you. If Drake loses both, what I'm telling you is if Drake loses both to Loyola, and then they don't win the league tournament, obviously, are they going to be an at-large team? Probably not, especially with Tank. He broke his foot.
And they lost to Valpo. Valpo's a quad 4 loss. No,
there's a good chance if they get swept by Loyola at home, there's a really good chance Drake doesn't get in the NCAA tournament.
Yes, I agree.
So they need to split. Loyola with a split is fine. I think they're in. They're fine, 100%. Now, if they lose both, again, Loyola's 13 in the net. even if they lose both, they're 17-5. You know, they probably are still in, but their seed takes a big hit. So, all right. My favorite bet of the day, Rob?
What's that?
Deshaun Butler's West Virginia Mountaineers.
Do you have any info on Taz Sherman?
I don't, but I don't know if it matters to me that much. I honestly don't. I mean, listen, I can find out, I'm sure, right now. I'm just not sure it matters to me that much. Here's what I'll say on that one. Again, another team that I'm not sure too many teams have played better than West Virginia lately, right? They're averaging 84 points a game over the last 5. 84 points a game. Huggins, West Virginia. I love it. They lost to Norman a couple weeks, 3 weeks ago or so in a close game where, remember, they came back. They were down by a bunch, and then they came back. The one thing that worries me, can I give you some numbers on Derek Culver against Oklahoma?
They're not good.
6.6 points, 8.8 rebounds, shooting 29% from the field. But it's a different Derek Culver, in my opinion. It's a completely different Derek Culver now, even than it was 3 or 4 weeks ago. It's a completely different offense now than it was 3 or 4 weeks ago. So I like West Virginia here. I would have liked it a little bit more, 2.5. I got it at 3. But I still really like that one. Really.
So my only concern there, I agree with you. If I'm going to be on someone, that's going to be on West Virginia. But my concern is twofold. One, we don't have an answer yet on Taz Sherman. And I think he's so important to what they do because of the way that he can shoot. And two, West Virginia's shooting like 44% in league play. If you look at like the jump that these guys have made, Miles McBride is hitting 45% from 3 this year after shooting 30% from 3 last season. Taz Sherman's shooting 40% from 3 this year after shooting 33% last season. Yep. John McNeil's at 39%, I believe, and shot 32% last season. So it's one of those things where, like, I kind of feel like regression is coming for them eventually. Yep. So that's the only thing that makes me uncomfortable. Now, the one thing to keep in mind is that Oklahoma plays a gapping defense, which basically means it's kind of similar to a pack line where they're not giving up drives and they want to make you shoot threes over the top. And that's a little bit risky against a West Virginia team that's shooting so well. So I think the matchup kind of says West Virginia, but I'm going to kind of stay away from it. And it's also like Oklahoma's perimeter defense has been so good. Like, they have so many guys that are just tough on the ball. It's a little bit worrisome for me. So I'm probably going to stay away from that one. But if I'm going to be on someone, it's West Virginia. I don't think I would bet on Oklahoma here.
I like UConn against Xavier.
I don't.
I know they don't have book night, but Xavier's coming off a long pause. UConn's 9-4 this year against the spread. I get it. I mean, I just think it's going to be one of those close games. I'm not saying they're going to win. I'm saying I like them getting 3.5. I got a 4. I got them getting 4. So I think it's going to be a game that comes down to the final possession.
I actually kind of like Xavier in the spot, and I know that they're coming off of the pause, but I mean, UConn, Tyrese Martin is missing time now because of a sprained ankle, and Isaiah Wiley, there's these. I don't know. Is it confirmed he's playing yet?
I don't know. Yeah,
because Hurley said that he was banged up. He's got a sprained ankle. I think Andre Jackson is going to end up starting today. They don't have book night. Like, that team just seems like banged up and beaten down, and I don't know, man. I just it feels like a bad spot for UConn.
Hey, what about your Vols?
Yeah, I like them a lot. I like them a lot here.
Me too. You know why I like him? Because, man, Jaden Springer looks like a star the last 2 games. Like, their confidence. To me, Keon Johnson and Jaden Springer, finally they can score the ball a little bit. So I think it's like potentially one of the better defensive teams in the country against one of the worst defensive teams.
They're literally number 1 in defensive efficiency on KenPom. So it's not potentially one of the best defensive teams in the country.
Here's why I say that. Because we've seen days when they have looked like the number 1 team in KenPom defensively. And then we saw a stretch. We did see a stretch, Rob, when they didn't look like they were an elite defensive team.
Well, it wasn't a stretch. It was the Florida game. It was the Florida game. But yeah, I love him in this spot here. I do know that Yves Pons is playing. He's going to be healthy and ready to go for this game. He sat out the last game against Georgia. The other part that I really like about this is the pace that LSU wants to play is going to make Tennessee run, and Tennessee's at their best when they get out and run. LSU does not have like the big bodies inside to force Tennessee to have to play like Fulkerson, which means I'm assuming that Yves Pons is going to be at the 5 for like the majority of the time, which is like exactly what you want if you are Tennessee in this spot. So yes, I love him here.
What else you like?
What haven't we gone over yet? Do you have a good feel in Villanova Creighton?
Well, I'll take Villanova. I don't have a great feel, and I don't think you can. And you know me, I've been on Creighton all year.
Yeah.
I just feel like Villanova's Villanova again. Like that Marquette win made me feel like, okay, you know what? Now they're clicking at all cylinders. I think they're 5-1 against the spread on the road this year too. So I just think Villanova is a team that's starting to hit their gear now. Creighton, they just, like they've just been okay this year. They've just been okay this year. The one I like Gonzaga tonight. USF's coming off a pause. The whole WCC, it felt like, is coming off a pause. Gonzaga's given 16. I get USF's good. I saw them obviously pull off one of the biggest upsets of the season in Mohegan Sun months ago. But I just feel like at some point, isn't Gonzaga – they did it against BYU, so I'm not saying they haven't done it in the WCC, but I feel like they get up for these bigger games in the WCC, and this is one of them. It'll be easier for them to get up for.
Well, you say that, and then they went out and they did not cover the opening line against BYU, which is the biggest game that they had left, which was – I don't know if you saw that, but that was one of the craziest sweats for everybody involved because the line opened at 11.5. It closed at 10.5. And the final score was 11. And Jeff, San Francisco, didn't San Francisco played Pepperdine, didn't they? They played Pepperdine this week.
Let
me check on that. I think they lost. I can't remember. I got to double check on this one. I'm not up on San Francisco as much as I should be, but I'm pretty sure they lost to Pepperdine. Yeah, they lost to Pepperdine on Wednesday. So that was their game back. So they got some of the butterfly.
They're 10-9 overall now. They're
not great. I probably would stay away from that one just because San Francisco to me is maybe the most dangerous team in the Pac-12 outside of Gonzaga because of how well they can shoot and how much they space the floor. They have two really good defensive guards in Jermaine Bouye and
Bouye.
I'm blanking on the other kid's name. I can't think of it right now. And it's also that staff is incredibly analytically savvy. They do things like at the end of the first half, they'll foul if it's a one-on-one just to be able to get the ball back. So there's little things that they do to be able to gain an edge of 2 points here, 3 points there, which is the kind of thing that can help you get a cover in a game like this, where I'm assuming at the end of the game it's going to be kind of if it's 18 and you're playing against backups, those extra 2 or 3 points is really going to matter. So I'm not saying I'm going to take USF. I don't love betting on the teams that have so much 3-point variance in the way that they play. And I think more than anyone in the country, the USF has 3-point variance. So I'm going to stay away, but it I don't know, just doesn't feel comfortable to me. We've had a couple questions in here.
Yep.
Do you have any feel in Butler, Georgetown?
No, zero.
Yeah, I don't. I want to stay away from that game.
0 on that one.
What about Washington State at home getting 8 points against USC? The first time they played, again, let me double check.
I love it.
I had the score right, but I think USC rated them. What's that?
I'm sorry, Andrew. I don't know. HB ball, Kansas giving 11 easy money. Iowa State stinks. Yeah, but Iowa State's actually covered. So
the first time they played, Washington State kept it within 8 against USC, and that was at USC. I like Kyle Smith here. I like the points. I think that the way that they can play can kind of muck things up in the paint for Evan Mobley. I'm going back to Iowa State. I would go. Yeah, we'll see if that ends up working out. That probably is a dumb bet. But it's another one of those back-to-backs. I've said it before that I think Iowa State's better than what their record is. They have the talent there. I don't think it's great. I will not be betting it myself, but I do think that it's the spot that you you want to be in if you are Iowa State and you're an Iowa State backer. So
I do like Boise against UNLV. I think this is UNLV's third game this week since Monday, maybe. UNLV is not very good to begin with. Boise needs this one. Like Boise can't have any more slip-ups if they're going to be an at-large team. So I think they're given 9 last I looked. I got it over here somewhere.
Where do you stand on Providence? Providence at DePaul.
Yeah, I mean, if I was going with it, I'd go Providence, but I don't have a great feel for that one. Here are a couple I like of the.
Did we talk about Belmont yet?
No.
Belmont 9-10.
Should we?
I mean, at what point is Belmont just an auto bet?
Isn't that good?
Let me make sure I have the exact numbers up. But I think they might be the best team against the spread in college basketball this season. Let me make sure I have the exact number up.
All right. While you're getting those numbers, I'm going to give a couple other mid-majors I like. Okay. I've been on Matt Lewis and James Madison for a while. They've taken care of me every time. They're given 1.5 against Hofstra at home. Hofstra, Joe Mihalich, all the best in his recovery. He has not been able to coach all season due to some health issues.
So real quick, the only concern I have on that is that Hofstra does play some zone. And when that kind of takes away like a ball screen dominant point guard. So I'm a little worried about that. That said, Hofstra's zone is not very good. So it's it may not matter. Just something to keep.
2 other WCC games, teams coming off pauses. I'm taking Pepperdine. They're getting one against St. Mary's. St. Mary's has been in a pause. And I'm taking Pacific at Loyola Marymount. Taking both money lines there. They're both getting minimal points. LMU's favored by 2.5 against Pacific. Again, Pepperdine's getting a point against St. Mary's. I'll take both of those. Did you find your answer? Whatever you're looking for? I can't remember.
Yeah. So Belmont this season has only had 4 games where they did not cover the spread. They've had a couple of pushes in there, but they've only had 4 games where they did not cover. So, yes, I will be on Belmont against the Morehead State Eagles. Who's the coach there? The Fighting something or other. We got the Fighting Preston Spradlins. Is that what it is?
The Eagles. It's just plain Eagles. Plain Eagles.
No, the Fighting Preston Spradlins.
No, it doesn't work that way. It just doesn't.
The Fighting Casey Alexanders.
Doesn't have the same.
By the way, like, is he ever going to get any credit for how well he's done?
Like, he just flies right into when your boys stack. By the way, did you read that athletic story?
I was waiting for you to bring that up. Say your piece. Get it out. What do you got to say? He kind of body bagged you a little bit.
What's that?
He kind of body bagged you a little bit.
What did he say?
He said that the only reason you're critical of him is because you're best friends with Bryce Drew, which was hilarious to me.
Well, it's so funny because like he has no idea. Like I swear, I think I've talked to Bryce Drew like 5 times in my life in person. Like
I know, right? Like you're best friends with Scott Drew. You're not best friends with the whole Drew family.
Right. I mean, just because I've talked a lot about Scott Drew means like the whole family. Like it's ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. But yeah, the writer interviewed me for the story, and I'm trying to find because there was
that Joe Rexroad that wrote it?
It was.
Yeah, he's good. He's good,
but he was a little too pro stack in this thing. I thought it's a little bit too pro stack.
Well, you might be a little bit too anti-stack. So
no, I'm just real on stack. He was a hell of a player. He sucks as a coach. How's that?
So I disagree with you on that point. In terms of like the on-court stuff and like what he's running and the offenses that they put in and the concepts.
That's only one part. But I'm not saying.
No, I know. What I'm saying is like the on-court stuff. Like I actually think he's really good and really high level. The issue with Stack is like the recruiting part of it, the roster building part of it, like that stuff is something that he probably needs to work on. But when it comes like to actual on-court actions that they're running, like they run really good stuff. Like his offenses are really high level. Like you talk to coaches in the SEC and I think that most of them would probably agree.
Taz Sherman, by the way, Taz Sherman's playing.
He's playing?
Yeah.
Taz Sherman is playing.
So
I texted Deshaun Butler to ask him. I was like, "Hey, you heard anything about Taz playing today?" And he goes, "I don't know. He warmed up last game." I was like, "Thanks, Day." Crushing that one. Deshaun Butler, the source of information when it comes to
thanks, man.
When it comes to West Virginia. Hold on. Anything else before we get out of here?
I want to read this to you. I just want to read this to you real quick, and you tell me your thoughts on. He said something like, a lot of Vandy fans were upset at him because the quote was basically, hold on, I got to find it here. Where the hell is this quote?
While you do that, real quick, someone in the chat just said UConn plus 3.5, UConn money line. We talked about that a little bit earlier. I'm staying away from betting anything UConn because like they're so banged up, man. They got a couple more guys with ankle injuries now. They just look completely worn down by this season, and so it's very hard for me to back him. No book night today. And I know Xavier's coming off of the pause, and I think they played like one game in 32 days or something insane like that. It got to the point where I literally forgot like Xavier had a team, but I just can't do it. And I say that as a man with a 203 area code that grew up in New Haven as a huge UConn fan. So I just can't back him.
All right, a couple more I'm going to run through, and then I want to read this quote to you and get your reaction on this because a lot of Vandy fans are up in arms. But let me give you a couple more. I'm going Manhattan again, even though handed it to Steve Masiello yesterday.
That hurts so bad, by the way.
Bad. Okay, anyway.
Between that and the Quinnipiac melt,
that was awful, absolutely awful. All right, Kent State, Northern Illinois coming off a pause. Kent State's given 15. Northern Illinois 2-10 against the spread this year. Morgan State given 3.5. Morgan State is 9-2 this year against the spread. They're playing at home against Norfolk State, given 3.5. Then I got to have my OVC picks. You know that. I'm going against Southern Illinois, Edwardsville, and SEMO. Shock. Jacksonville State is given 9 against SIU Edwardsville at home. Guess who SEMO's playing today?
Who?
Let's go P. Let's go P. They're given 10. Matt Figure is given 10 there. So that's kind of what I like on the mid-majors. All right, here's the quote. Here's the quote in the story. Get through it quick here. How am I not qualified when I play basketball at the highest level and played under some Hall of Fame coaches? I don't have the acumen to know what I'm looking for. What's the angst? And it becomes the things we see right in front of us, man. All I can say is 75 million people voted for Trump. That's all I can say. You ain't fooling me. I know what it's about. A lot of you hate everything we did when we came here about the staff, the diversity of the staff. It was this or that. And I like to think I know a little something about building teams and what organizations should look like. I've worked and played for some of the best organizations. Now, again, the thing that drew the ire of a lot of Vandy fans, and I've gotten a lot of emails and DMs here, is the comment that he basically made saying people are racist against him for hiring his staff, right? His staff, mostly black. What I will say to that is, for me, it had nothing, zero to do with color of skin with his staff, and more based on the fact that he got guys that had no experience in college basketball, no experience recruiting in college basketball. That's his downfall. Ultimately, like you said, Jerry Stackhouse' downfall is not a lack of understanding of how to coach X's and O's. His downfall is that he was a guy who had no experience in college basketball coaching. Then he hired one developmental guy from the G League that he took with him, another guy that was a Memphis high school coach. Like, what the hell are you doing? You don't hire a Memphis high school coach. You're not beating Memphis for any players. And the other part of that was, he started hiring David Grace, who's been around, and he fired him last year. But David Grace even didn't have this huge body of work dealing with academic kids. And that's what
David Grace was basically getting the Compton Magic kids to UCLA and the Cal.
Right. So like you put together a shitty staff for what you needed. I'm not saying each of these guys individually aren't good coaches. I'm saying this is not a staff that can win at Vandy, in my opinion.
Well, and that's the point that we made about Juwan Howard in Michigan, right? It was that we're never worried about the basketball stuff with Juwan Howard. It was the stuff that you have to deal with on the day-to-day of running a college like 75% of the shit you do as a college basketball coach has nothing to do with basketball. And look at that. So what did Juwan Howard go out and do? He hired a guy that's been a head coach for like 500 years in Phil Martelli to basically say, like, this is what you need to be able to do to handle shit.
He took one NBA guy, Howard Isley. He kept Saudi Washington. Like, so smart. Like, he didn't try to outsmart himself. And I think that's what Jerry Stackhouse did here. Instead of saying, like, all right, let me talk to everybody I know. I've done grassroots basketball. Let me talk to the coaches I know, and I'm going to get one or two guys that have experience recruiting academic kids. Number one, high-level academic kids. Who can that be? I'll pay him a lot of money. Whatever I got to do to get him, I'll get him. Instead, he tried to outsmart himself. And again, this comment, and he took some shots at me. Like, dude, I care. Like, I really give a shit what you think about me. I don't care. I don't care. Doesn't matter to me. Doesn't matter, Rob. Like I care if I have a relationship with Jerry Stackhouse. They're irrelevant. They're so irrelevant. I haven't had a relationship with John Calipari for 12 years, and I've been just fine. Like, not having like, I need recruiting news or something about Vandy. Ridiculous.
Well, that's a good way to end this stream. So if you guys are still here, make sure to go and follow us on the BetSperts app. That's the easiest way to get all of the picks that we have logged in. And that is where you can get the information if we get something coming in about a guy that's playing, a guy that's not playing, pauses, whatever it is. We had some good success with that this week, getting Wake Forest at BC and getting the info that Chris Duarte is playing. So, all right, Jeffrey, we will see you